Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday podcast. Hope you are all doing well. I'm doing a lot better. I'm just at the entrails of this horrible cold that I have had. So I hope that you can hear that my voice is a lot better. So grateful to be back. All right, let's get into it because I have missed quite a lot and a lot has been happening. Like, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Megan, our good sis is staying on the haters' necks. Stay on their necks, Megan. Stay there for the whole of 2025. She pretty much told us that at the very beginning, right? Right in 2025 in the sand. The signs were there. She said 2025 is going to be that year, and it is turning out to be that year. Oh, right. Let's see who is in the chat. It was nice being in Baron's chat the other earlier. I don't always get the chance to be in a live because he's a lot earlier than what I wake up usually. So I do like to drop in. Hey, Benjamin. Yeah, William apparently, well, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. That's not exactly what was said by William in his interview that he gave, but I have some theories surrounding what he did say. Mind you, we have theorized for some time that the other royals have troll accounts. It wouldn't surprise me. It was only the other week that um, the one of the reps who used to work for Archwell said that they keep an eye on all of the social media. So if Meghan's team is keeping an eye on social media, you know that the Palace's team is keeping an eye on social media. The difference being that the Palace and the courtiers and everybody in that so-called firm is so petty. So I've got no doubt that they've got troll accounts. And we have more than enough evidence that some of the troll accounts are actually linked to the royal household. Thank you so much, Connie. I'm actually feeling better. It's just I'm one of those people that gets really bad, like cough and after I've had a cold. Okay, wanted to start off with this quote because I feel like really sums up Meghan. Maybe you've been assigned this mountain to show others it can be moved, and a lot of people have been describing with Love Meghan and the brand as ever as escapism. And I can totally understand why people would say that. And for me, I feel like Meghan's brand and this show and what she's trying to convey and say in this show beyond just the cooking, because if you're just seeing the cooking, then you're not really seeing the whole picture. I feel it's very much met me where I'm at in my life. I'm 34 going on 35. And I'm in a place in my womanhood where I want to be more elegant, more refined, more graceful, more intentional. That's really what I think is really at the heart of Meghan's show, intention, elevating oneself in the little ways that one can, and trying to bring joy in the little ways that you can. And that actually, I think, really starts on the inside. Self love and self care is an inside job. And then looking at all the things, beyond that, and connecting with your community more and other people that can bring love and joy into your life and being more intentional and giving and kind to them and others. That's what I really think is at the heart of With Love Meghan. And all of these people who are, criticizing this as just some ostentatious cooking show, it's like you don't get it. But we can see very clearly who does get it and who doesn't get it. They don't get it because they don't want to get it, because they've already made up their minds based on the propaganda that they have eaten that they don't like Meghan. And a lot of them can't even really give you a good reason why. It's always just the most petty, and I'm gonna get into it later on in the podcast because I don't usually highlight trolls. There's one particular troll that I do want to talk about today because this is a troll that actually is also somebody who puts herself out, or she is a journalist with a very small J. She might as well be a tabloid um rotor rat at this point. So we'll get into that. While I was away though, I did try to bake the Megan cake. Here it is. I tried my best. The lemon and raspberry cake. Went and got all the ingredients. So I actually used a slightly altered um ingredient list than what Megan used. I wanted a slightly softer, a much softer cake, so I used a sponge cake mix instead of I think it was all-purpose flour that they used in the show. I also used sour cream instead of milk. Another thing that I did was I crumbled the lemon zest in the dry mix with sugar. So I think that brought out the lemon zest a little bit more. And then I put that in the dry mix before adding the wet mix of the sour cream and the eggs and the olive oil. And yeah, I think it came out the actual cake part I think came out a lot softer. Where I messed up is with the buttercream. I tried to mix the buttercream by hand, and I just don't think it works that well if you try to mix buttercream by hand. I also think I got the consistency wrong. Half of the cake at the back actually collapsed. You can't really see it very well in the picture, but half of the cake at the back actually collapsed. Um, so yeah, those would be my tips. Just make sure that you use like a proper whisk when you're making the buttercream. And I think with the consistency, I didn't add enough icing sugar. But I otherwise am very happy for a first try. I haven't done like baking in a very, very long time. And Daniel, who is in the first episode with Megan, he actually commented on it on my Instagram picture. So I was super chuffed about that. Thank you so much, Daniel. Um appreciate you, appreciate Megan. Daniel, by the way, I think he's one of like the top guys to touch cosmetics now. So congratulations to him. Congratulations also to Megan's friends who are finding success in their own paths. You know, success breeds success. Surrounding yourself with people who are very good at what they do actually helps you. A lot of very jealous, envious people do the opposite. They don't want to be around other successful people because it triggers their insecurities. Smart people surround themselves with success because success breeds success. Anywho, and why wouldn't they? Especially when um Megan has such incredible impact. I had such fun, by the way. Before I get into the next plot, I had so much fun actually making this cake. Um, yeah, first time I tried baking in a while, and it was just really nice to just like be in the kitchen, slow down, be away from my phone, especially because I was sick. And yeah, I have a whole recipe list of different things that I want to try. Have you all tried anything from the show? Let me know what you've tried. Hey, Patricia Nixon, good evening to you too. Hey, Vera, you haven't missed much. We've just gotten started. Yeah, it was beautiful on the inside. Somebody on Twitter, this absolute troll, called my cake the Timu version of Megan's. Excuse me? Don't you dare Timu me. I bet it was given Alibaba at least. It's just an insult to say Timu. I tried my Alibaba best. My AliExpress best. How dare you say Timu? Sorry about that, folks. Marcia, it doesn't need to be perfect. How did it taste? Indeed, it doesn't need to be perfect, and it tasted swell. A little bit too sweet, I have to say. The altered version, the ingredients, sorry, recipe that I got, they actually had also an alternative to the cream, but it was a little bit more complicated than what I wanted to do. But I think next time, and when I have a whisk, I will try that version. I think they used some kind of like creamy cheese, which isn't. It gives this texture that isn't as sweet. So I think I'll try that next time. Thank you so much, Anne Lewis. Imagine that person calling my cake Timu. Yes, trial and error. I did my Alibaba best. Don't you dare call it Timu. Thank you. A for effort. Oh, you tried is it the focaccia? The bread? Yeah, not Timu. Excuse me? Excuse me. The taste was nice. Rahini, my local bakery has a version selling called the Megan cake. Oh my god, can you take a picture and send it to me, please? Or Tanya, you cooked the pot pasta. Well, so many people have been inspired. We'll get on to that. But first of all, Megan making everyone money. Megan's Netflix show generates 10 million in media exposure for As Ever. Laura Piana earns 1 million with her high low look. Yes, pretty much everything that Megan touches turns to gold and sells out. I used to work for an eyewear company, and there was a pair of Lespecs, black Lespecs glasses that Megan wore. They were consistently bestsellers even after she wore them. Like we would sell like 2 or 3 a day, well after she wore them. Like not even in the immediate afterwards. And I believe that company now has like a whole page that's like Meghan Markle sunglasses. She sells not only what everything she touches, everything adjacent to that. So all of those pots that are selling, cheaper versions or similar versions are also now selling. There was one company that didn't they have to expand their factory because Megan wore their jeans or something? Okay. Jenna, you'll be making the bread tomorrow, and I made the pasta this week. Yeah, enjoy. And if you think about it, if Megan can shift other people's brands, think of just how well her brand is going to do. Billionaire in the making, whether they like it or not. And influencing so many people, you know? It's the simple things. I love seeing images like this. Um, I think one of the things that's just becoming obvious with the deranged reactions of some people is just how uncomfortable a lot of people are with seeing um, black women, melanated women living in peace, living in joy, living in luxury, because the image that's comfortable is an image that is very degrading, an image that is based on stereotypes. And a lot of the vitriol, I think, coming at Megan is because of just that. I want to read this. Okay, just pull this up on the screen. For some reason, it didn't load. Yeah, actually, here it is. The real reason people are mad at Megan's new lifestyle show, Home Goods, the resistance of Megan, apart from the fact that some people just hate her, is a persistent disconnect between who gets to have that dream and who doesn't. Surprise, if you can buy that pan or pump those balloons, you get to have it, and we're going to revel in it. One of the problems here is that people want her to make herself smaller, said Wilson said. We do not do that anymore. I'm not making myself smaller for anyone. Exactly. I'm not making myself smaller. I'm not going to um, play into your stereotypes. I'm not going to be something that you can use to measure where you are on the social totem pole. And I think particularly for Black women, we are expected to be at the bottom. A lot of the talk right now is specifically um, white women's reaction to Meghan. And I want to just say that a lot of the vitriol spewed towards Black women, it doesn't just come from white women. And I think that's a bit of a I feel like it's not really telling a whole story. A lot of the vitriol comes from other people of color. A lot of the vitriol indeed comes even from other Black people. And that's whether you are a duchess or just your everyday Black woman trying to live with peace and joy. It literally comes from everyone. And I think that actually has to be fully acknowledged. It comes from everyone. You talk to, and I speak from my own experience talking to other Black women as well, talk to any young Black girl who was in high school, or even now, maybe you're alternative, maybe you're a little bit preppy. Maybe you don't speak a certain way. Maybe you speak in a fashion that's very highly elocuted. Maybe you know, you don't just fit this one-dimensional stereotype. You know, maybe you're very multi-layered, um, a multifaceted person that doesn't fit into this box that we get put into. You don't have to be a duchess. Even just the average Black woman, how people react when they don't fit, when you don't fit this narrative that has stuck in their heads. And the crazy thing is that every race of people has some kind of negative stereotype attached to them, but it doesn't necessarily become their whole narrative or the entire lens through which people see them through. And there was someone that wrote something about this regarding, I think it was, oh yeah, also Lewis Hamilton, who's actually just done a really good interview and cover with Times, by the way. Go and check that out. This is Athena who said, I think of this quote: many Black figures like Meghan or Lewis Hamilton get accused of being fake because of how they express themselves. Your inability to accept them as they are makes you no different from rabid racists who don't believe they have a right to succeed in the first place. And she took a quote from somewhere else, where she said, often white people will meet a Black person who completely challenges every racial stereotype that they have ever had. Um, and rather than giving that stereotype, giving up that stereotype, they will create a special category for that person and say, well, you're not like other Black people, instead of saying my ideas of Black people were too narrow. And just to go back to my last point, people of other races do this also, and even other Black people do this also. Um, and it's just quite insane to see just how rabid and deranged these reactions have been. And Meghan is biracial. She got about, yeah, she got a Black mother, but she is almost white passing. If she was any lighter, she would be almost white passing. So goodness knows what would be happening right now if Meghan was an even darker melanated woman. And so we move on to, I'm sorry, but I'm going to get onto the troll part now. This is Heidi N. Moore. That's the avatar picture that she uses. That from the Guardian feature is how she actually looks. This is an individual who is meant to be a journalist. She's written for several high profile and continues to write for several high profile outlets, including The Guardian. She is someone who presents herself as a liberal, as a progressive. I think this troll, which is what she actually is, has secretly been harboring a hatred for Meghan for some time because, and I'm not going to read out the entire rant that she went on about the unhinged foolery. But it was actually one of the most unhinged thing that I've ever seen. If I didn't know who Heidi M. Moore was, I would say she was a mega nut nut. Because somebody that calls herself a liberal progressive, she was tweeting and ranting like a mega nut nut. Paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. It was just unbelievable. And I rarely talk about the Meghan trolls. You have hardly ever heard me talking about Taz, Lady C, Megan Small, and any of those lot on this podcast. Anybody who's been following me for a while. But the fact that this person has prominent figures following them and they write for big outlets is why I choose to highlight this today. Because she not only was she ranting about Meghan, letting us all know that she hoped that Harry would have chosen her like she ever stood a chance. She was also just putting out straight lies. One of the things that she actually said, I don't think I have some of her other tweets, but I don't have this particular one. But one of the things that she actually said was it was obvious that Meghan didn't have the social graces to be a royal. She didn't have the social graces for this. Andrew emails show contact with Epstein lasted beyond 2010. Charles letters seeking advice from paedophile Jimmy Savile. Scandal of Prince William's moldy, hard to heat royal rentals that don't meet standards. Meghan apparently didn't have the social graces for this. Let me tell you something. They do not want to admit that Meghan was above and beyond this institution, above and beyond in every single way. Self made, educated, well mannered, not a single bad thing you can find anybody saying about this woman, other than just the lies that have been made up. Definitely not connected to no Jeffrey Epstein's or Jimmy Savile's. And Miss Heidi here has the audacity to say that Meghan didn't have the social graces to be part of the royal family. First of all, the whole idea of royalty being the height of society, the height of grace, the height of elegance, the height of man is just rubbish. It is rubbish. Royals, whether it's the British royals, I mean, some of the other royals are a little bit more normal, but just in general, historically, the most emotionally stunted, pompous, scandal-ridden group of people in society, literally. The so-called grace and elegance of royalty, that's just all a facade. Let's just keep it real. Especially when you got things like this going on. Are you serious? And people like Heidi have all the energy for Meghan and none of the energy for what the other royals have been getting up to and continue to get up to. She has no energy for that, but somehow she had the energy to tweet about, I don't know, maybe 10 different tweets ranting about Meghan. One of the things that she said was, it's obvious to me that Meghan did not grow up with a lot of financial privilege. Is that an issue? Is it an issue that somebody didn't grow up with financial privilege? You're meant to be a progressive. You're meant to be a liberal. Why are you judging someone based on whatever amount of money that they grew up with? Mind you, Meghan's mother was a social worker, so she was serving her community. So yeah, it doesn't pay you millions. She was doing something good for her community. So why are we judging the fact that Meghan didn't grow up with financial privilege? One of the interesting things about this tweet is that she also goes on to say about, oh, this is one of the most spectacular examples of social mobility in our time. Yeah, Heidi knows that she would not be capable of bagging a prince. Does this look like a lady to you who's trying to level up in life, who goes on an unhinged 10 tweet long rant about another woman? People like Heidi want you to operate at your lowest, to be 50% of yourself so that you don't expose how mediocre they are. She also went on to say, I would not allow a royal to colonize my life, but consider the people she must have grown up around. That particular comment was actually in response to something I think an Asian woman had said. She had said, "Oh, I would never date a colonizer." It's interesting that that's actually one of the few comments that she responded to on this thread. My response to Heidi, by the way, when I was calling her out, went viral. And that's the reason why she not only blocked me, I think she actually deleted one of the tweets in this thread and then went on a blocking spree, blocking a bunch of people because people were calling her out on her nonsense because the whole thing was just so unhinged. I mean, when I saw this, I was just like, are you for real? She also in one of the tweets, she commented about the fact that Megan corrected Mindy Kaling on her name, which a married woman is allowed to do. I don't know why people have made such a big deal out of that, but she called Megan and she called Mindy an unmarried single mother. And how could Megan correct an unmarried single mother about her name? Mindy has 3 children. She is notoriously secret about who the father of those children are. I don't think that Mindy is a type of woman who defines herself by the fact that she is single and unmarried and a single mother. So why is Heidi here making a deal of the fact that Megan corrected Mindy on her name because Mindy is a single unmarried mother? She also went on to say, um, it is embarrassing to see women of color and people of color um, defending a colonizer, referring to Harry. Um, she was also using deranger like language, um, referring to the fact that she said, oh, this is one that derangers often say. Black derangers actually often say this one about Megan not having any black friends because, you know, these people were like with Megan every single day from the beginning of her life, and Megan not standing up for um, any causes or charities regarding racial justice, which is also just a straight up lie. Archwell are currently funding a program to educate judges, medical professionals, teachers, police on biases against Black women. There's the NAACP Awards. They fund the Love Lounge Foundation. There was the 250K that was raised for Camp Fed. Half of that was given to Harry and Meghan. I mean, I don't know why there is this huge expectation on Harry and Meghan to end all of the world's racism. Was Heidi ranting about the royal family's colonization before Meghan went in? And it's not actually just Heidi that uses that talking point, by the way. I've actually seen this very often. And I don't know why this talking point is coming up in regards to literally the only member of the royal family, Harry, who has had the balls to say anything about the monarchy's past several times. That we need to have difficult conversations about the past, that we need to right the wrongs. It was even featured in the Harry and Meghan documentary. There were entire segments about the royal family's colonization and the whole history of that. They even had scholars come on and talk about that. When Harry did his interview with Anderson Cooper, he spoke about how one of the other royal families was making payments to former colonies. Why is all of this expectation specifically being put on Harry and Meghan, the only two people in the royal family that have actually said anything? The two of them on their own can't solve every single problem, but to give them some credit, they have tried to have that conversation. Why is the same pressure not being applied to the other members of the royal family? Why is the same pressure not being applied literally to the current king and the incoming king? Harry is the spare. This lady right here, she should be ashamed of herself. She's not a journalist. She's not a progressive. She is a MAGA in progressive clothing. And to be honest, a lot of these progressives, quite recently, have been proving that there's something about them that's fishy. Because all it took was for Meghan to be cooking peacefully in her cute little kitchen for this woman to be completely unhinged. That's all it took. Anybody that's I didn't want to sit here and read the whole damn thread, but this is a snapshot of this unhinged foolery from this woman. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna go through your comments and then we'll go into the next thing. Sorry to have to bring a rant today, but this was, I rarely, anybody that listens to this podcast will know that I rarely, rarely, really do this. I can't even remember the last time I did this. But I felt it was necessary because what the hell? Yeah, let them choke. Black women, we've taken off the capes. There will be no marching in this 2025. We are at home with our fancy pots making spaghetti. Thank you very much. Yeah, we call it dumb ourselves down to please others. Not in 2025. No, thank you. Not in 2025. Yeah, Rahini, there is a belief that blackness should be poor, struggling, low class, and unsophisticated. We are none of those things. Sorry, folks. There's so many comments. I'm trying to figure out who to go to first. Heather, unfortunately for insecure people, stereotypes aren't always true. Mhm. Sharon, you said most of my friends' daughters have grad school and beyond. Making themselves small is not an option. No, making yourself small. For what? For what? Rhonda, you said the black female is an easy target to degrade. Bravo to us for shifting the narrative. We're not angry, just fed up. Indeed. I mean, we have every right to be angry, quite frankly. They act as if we don't have the right to be angry, but angry is not all we are. I mean, when I look at images of this, um, this is what I grew up with. I was raised in the church. This is the image of black womanhood that I was familiar with in real life, not on the TV screens, not in the hip hop videos. This was this image was what I had to role model, but they prefer to push an image that's more degrading. Dorothy, you said these people act like Meghan took their man. Indeed, their man. Harry was their man. All of them. Yeah, our princess was just simply too good for them. Way too good. He said, "She's like a mirror pointing at them continuously." Indeed. I mean, if you're someone that's very insecure, you're going to take somebody else's greatness as some kind of disrespect to you. If you're secure, you're going to be inspired. Like these people. There's so many of these are popping up on my screen every single day on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. People feeling inspired. So, unrelatable to who exactly? Unrelatable to who? Megan is unrelatable to you. And you know what? That's fine. She doesn't have to be relatable to everyone. Yeah, Heidi definitely looks like the troll that she is on the inside. And I used to actually follow her. I was actually following. That's how I saw this tweet about Megan because I was following her because of some of the political stuff that she writes. But all it took was for Megan to be cooking and the real her came out. She has really, really embarrassed. Like, people really went after her. I believe she actually deleted one of the tweets from that thread. I don't know exactly which one, but she deleted one. And then actually went on another rant about Megan's podcast. Yeah, they want to talk ish, but they don't want to take the heat. She couldn't take the heat for 10 minutes, blocked me, and then started blocking everyone else. And then only engaging with other people of color who agree with her narrative. Oh, look, this person agrees with me, so I can't be an artist, please. Yeah, Mindy didn't have a problem with what Princess Megan said. Didn't she go on The View afterwards and actually clear that up? I think I saw a clip of her. Heidi has an issue with colonizers. Where does she live? Do you know what? This is another thing that I've learned from this whole thing with Heidi, that some of these liberal progressives will use social justice language and weaponize it against people of color that they don't like. That's a lesson that I've learned. I didn't actually know that this was a thing until today. Exactly. She would have sold her soul. They all would have if Harry had chosen her. They demand Harry and Meghan give a ton to charity and don't care that their taxes go to the other royal. Exactly. Exactly. They demand so much of Harry and Meghan, but nothing of the other royals. Nothing of an entire institution. This is a very wealthy, very powerful institution. If they wanted to engage in difficult conversations and make amends and right wrongs, they could. They don't want to. Why should all of that have to fall on Harry and Meghan? The only two members of the royal family that actually want to do something decent, who actually wanted to humanize and bring this institution into the times that we are in now. Why are you having a go at them? It doesn't make any sense. You're clearly just jealous and envious. Why aren't you having a go at William and Kate, who showed up in colonizer cosplay and were rolling around in jeeps in Jamaica? Why aren't you having a go at them? Like, make it make sense. Yes, the 92% that voted for Kamala are resting and taking care of ourselves. And that there's also another 92% that support that 92% in the US. The 92% of us that live out that would have voted, who don't live in the US but would have voted, we support you as well. You go and rest. Please go and cook your spaghetti and cakes. I think that's also another thing that's annoying people about this. Is that these images have just flooded social media, flooded social media. Anyway, we are almost an hour into this podcast, and I don't even think I've talked about Megan's venture. Have I even talked about Megan's venture? Been ranting about so many other things. Okay, I am so sorry. Let's get on to some positive stuff. Um, yes. Okay, we have a new podcast from Megan. Now we knew something was coming. We just didn't really know what it was going to be. Was it going to be like an archetypes part two? Um, was it maybe going to be her talking to men, some progressive men? Now we have an answer. We have an answer. Megan is going to be talking to female founders, she said in a post on Instagram. I'm so excited to share with you something else I've been working on, Confessions of a Female Founder, my new podcast with Lemonada Media. I've been having candid conversations with amazing women who have turned dreams into realities and scaled small ideas into massively successful businesses. They're opening up, sharing their tips, tricks, and tumbles, and letting me pick their brains as I build my own business as ever. It has been absolutely eye opening, inspiring, and fun because what's the point if we can't have some fun on this adventure? First episode, April 8th. Cannot wait. Incredible. Cannot wait for that. Oh, and the trailer comes out on March the 25th. Trailer is out on March the 25th, y'all. Can't wait. Can't wait for that. Now, March the 25th is a Tuesday. So I'm wondering if it will be the same kind of format that we had with archetypes, like a weekly episode. I really like that format actually. I feel like it gave us something to look forward to. Guesses on who she's going to talk to. Please put your guesses in the chat. Um, Possibly founders of Clever Blends. I believe there's two female founders and a guy, I think. But the main founders are female. So I think maybe the founders of Clever Blends, maybe some of the other businesses that she's invested in. Wasn't there like is it the handbag business? I forget the name. But possibly the founder of that. Um I was gonna say the founders of Highbrow Hippie, but they actually just did a podcast with Rachel Zoe. You know the not the designer, stylist Rachel Zoe. So I don't know if they'll be featured on Megan's as well because her podcast is quite big, but maybe, possibly. Um, and also Kelly Zajfen, she's also launching something very soon. She owns the Alliance of Mums, which is a not for profit. So maybe her. Um, Serena Williams, she's got her VC company, so maybe her. I'm trying to think. Yeah, and then a couple of surprises thrown in as well. So if you have any guesses, please do let me know. Like who else do you think might be featured? Patricia, Patricia, you win comment of the day. Why is it none of these women cry over not having a chance with William or Edward? Exactly. Exactly. Oh, I could die. Oh. Lady T said, "It's the way they totally dismiss her highly successful life before Harry. That's how you see the denial and jealousy in these folks, not to mention they've never met her exactly. Like, we're really gonna act like this woman who had 3 million Instagram followers, a blog, a clothing line, she was being featured in car ads, she was being featured on cooking shows, on mainstream TV. She was on the Today Show. We're really gonna act like this woman didn't have a life before the Unroyal Mafia? Don't be ridiculous." Hi, if you're just joining us, by the way, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Rahini, you said maybe the black lady who founded Lamik, the makeup brand that Daniel uses on Megan. Oh, maybe. The founder of Blue Salt. She wears them a lot. Okay, I don't know what Blue Salt is. Um, but I will look them up, assuming that they are. Let's have a look. Blue Salt. Is this a clothing brand? Ooh, luxury wear, elevated basics, made with sustainability. Oh, this looks absolutely divine. A lot of silks and draping and tailoring. Fabulous. Alexandra Higgins, Jessica Alba, The Honest Company. Yes, possibly. Actually, yes. Is Jessica Alba, is she still with The Honest Company or did she leave? That could be a possibility, yes. Blue French Gates? Possibly. Melody Hobson. Does Melody own her own business though? Because from my understanding, she's been a corporate executive at many big companies, Fortune 500 companies, but I don't think she's an actual founder. Not that I know of. If I'm wrong, let me know. But she's actually not someone that came to my mind first. And I'm assuming this is women who are building businesses. So I'm assuming it's really, really focused on that, not necessarily women who are executives or of big businesses. Yeah, it would be great to introduce some new faces, possibly. Yes. Yeah, the clever blend. I think the clever blends will be on it as well. She's Shahid, the co-founder and CEO of Our Place. Okay, I don't know what Our Place is, but I'll look that up. You think that Oprah? I don't think Oprah's going to be on the show. No, no, I don't think she will be. Only just because I feel like Oprah interviewed Megan, so yeah, I don't think she'll be on the show. If I'm honest. Kim, you're also guessing Jessica Alba. Um, you're saying it is rumored that her success is why she and her husband are divorcing. Well, her husband actually did an interview, big red flag, years ago, where he talked about where he was actually jealous of her success very early on. And it's one of the reasons why they broke up very early on before they got married. Listen, if your partner isn't your biggest cheerleader and there's jealousy there, you definitely shouldn't make them your husband. So I don't know if that's the reason why they're divorcing, but I know it's the reason why they broke up earlier on in their relationship. Oh, Iman, Bobby Brown, possibly, yes. Uh, Maybe Rihanna, who knows? Oh yeah, Rihanna. Fenty Beauty. Also, Melody is the founder of Ariel Investments. Okay. Helps women learn how to invest for their future. Okay, thank you for letting me know. All right. Let's get on to the next thing. Thanks for your guesses, and very much looking forward to that. Cannot wait. Something else to look forward to. Another thing that I just wanted to mention before we move it along. There were a lot of squaddies who were upset that Meghan was not featured in the Hello Magazine Royal Women feature. Now, let me just say that Hello Magazine, whenever they post about Meghan on their Instagram page, the worst vitriol is allowed on those posts. It's one of the reasons why when Hello Magazine came into my DM some time ago asking for me to comment on something regarding Meghan, I said no. And I let them know in my response is because they allow vitriol towards her on their platform. Meghan doesn't need to be featured in Hello Magazine. Meghan is in a league of her own now. She's above and beyond every royal woman that has ever existed, even the Queen. Yeah, I said it. Even the late Queen. Above and beyond. Her legacy will be above and beyond because her legacy will actually be impactful in a way that I think matters to the average person. When I look at the faces of these royal women, I see women who have no identity, women who are stuck in a cage, women who are stuck in a time capsule, who have to walk behind their husbands. Apart from Camilla. Camilla don't give an F. Why would she? She got what she wanted. Um, I think that it would actually be more insulting to feature Meghan in this. I think when it comes to things like this, yeah, keep Meghan out of it. She doesn't need to be included. They made it very, very clear that she didn't have a seat at their table. So she made her own. She built her own table. Heck, she built the whole house in Montecito with Harry. So why does she need to be featured in Hello Magazine? Let's not get our feelings hurt for no reason. On to the next thing, William. Can somebody please tell me what's happening with William? You're not going to tell me that there's nothing wrong with this guy. Here he is at a football match, so excited that he almost gouges this gentleman's eye out. What is happening over here? Can somebody please tell me what's happening over here? William is not okay. Neither is Kate. I mean, we all remember images like this. Now, mind you, the hyena laughing from Kate has toned down a little bit, but I partly just think that's just because she's exhausted of herself. But if when you look at these expressions, they're not natural. Like, even if somebody was very excited, Kate looks like she's about to bite off that woman's face. I think part of the reason they do this is because they are told, I think they are told by the courtiers and their PR team to look overly excited in all the pictures so that in the pictures it looks like everybody was happy and joyful, having a good time. That's why I think you are continuously, because it's a pattern. This isn't just once or twice or a few times, getting pictures where William and Kate are laughing and smiling, but the people around them are not. That's why the other people look so awkward in every single picture. They are being instructed to behave like this. It's all just a charade. It's all one big charade and it's not working. Because the people around them are just looking at them like, what is going on? And these are meant to be royals that we're meeting, and they're acting weird as hell. Now there was an article that came out because of an interview that William did where he talked about making fake profiles so he could engage in conversations online about football. This is what he's claiming. He said, um, I'd grow up looking at CFAX on the television or the back pages of newspapers, and if you didn't have those to hand, you were a bit out of the loop, he added. I like going on the forums. I can be on there for ages. I listen to what other fans have to say and give them my opinions. I get quite into it, definitely. It's important to have that debate. Does anybody believe that William is on online forums, football forums, having debates with football fans about football? And if he is doing that, why is my taxpayer money paying for that? I don't think William is on online forums talking about football. I have believed for a long time that there are people in the palace and in their circles who do have these fake online accounts where they troll people and they listen and they see what we're saying. Kate herself looking mighty happy with that lady that she's with. She's a very, very well known um deranger. I'm not gonna say her name. She has quite a big YouTube channel and an online on Twitter as well. She's got a big following on Twitter as well. And there she is, perfectly synced with Kate. I think Kate knows exactly who that woman is. Like this picture is this isn't just like you're going through the crowd taking pictures randomly with people as the royals sometimes do. It's like she knows this woman. Like it just looks too cozy. Mind you, we already know that the palace has been paying for bot farms for some time. If not the palace, someone linked to the palace, possibly the tabloids, to spread misinformation and hate about Harry and especially about Meghan. Oy. They will destroy themselves trying to destroy Meghan. Hi, William, if you're listening, can you please shave off your beard? It hasn't helped you at all. It has not helped you at all. And they will dig for negative stories anyway. You've probably seen this one. There was a YouTuber who had a series called Confessions of a Female Founder. They tried to drag her into this mess, but our good sis said absolutely not. Absolutely not. Business owner defends Meghan against accusations of stealing. Speaking with Yahoo Lifestyle, first of all, very smart for her to speak to an outlet like Yahoo and not the Daily Mail or the Sun or the Mirror, because I do believe this woman is UK based. That could have very easily been spun into something else. She said, I completely understand why people are drawing connections and I truly appreciate the support and understand their intention, but I also understand coincidences as well. It's highly unlikely Meghan even came across my channel, but I'm flattered by the thought. Yeah, I think her channel only had less than 2,000 subscribers because I'm pretty sure when I was in the chat earlier, uh, wasn't Baron asking people to subscribe to her YouTube channel, which had something like less than 2,000? Is that correct? If I'm not mistaken. She added, what does concern me is how quickly this is turning into another reason to drag a woman down. That's not something I want to contribute to. I know firsthand what it feels like to have my work actually copied. This isn't that. Exactly. This isn't that. I mean, to be fair, it's not exactly like the most unique of titles, like Confessions of a Female Founder. It's like it's one of those does what it says on the tin type of titles. So the likelihood of somebody else possibly having um a podcast with a similar name, and mind you, I'm pretty sure they would have checked if somebody who had a sizable podcast would have had that name, and clearly nobody of a sizable podcast had that name. We're talking about somebody who had less than 2,000 followers. It was very unlikely that they would have found her. Like, the tabloids are really grasping for straws. I'm good on this lady, for not taking the bait. Good on her. Okay, was there anything else I wanted to mention? Yes, Camilla. Camilla being self-serving as usual. Now, I'm sure most of you have probably heard of the horrific case of Giselle Pellico and everything that she was put through by her deranged monster of a husband, or ex-husband now. Um, for years, she was drugged and assaulted while she was sleeping by her husband and several other men who he invited, up to 80, 30 of whom we still don't know, the others facing jail time after a very lengthy court case. Camilla sent a letter to her. And I'm just going to say this quite flatly. I think that's insulting. I think it's so insulting for someone like Camilla to first of all send that letter to Giselle Pellico, who in my eyes is a hero. She is a hero. And then try to use that to get a headline. She could have sent that letter very privately and nobody could have known about it. Camilla, who was having an affair with her own partner and with another married man. Camilla, who helped groom Diana and helped torture her. Camilla, who most certainly was a bully to Meghan. Camilla, who was threatened by every other woman around her. When I saw this headline, I was honestly just angry. Camilla is currently claiming to be some, activist for women's rights and abuse against women. Like, can you start in your own house, lady? Start in your own house. Look at the state of royal women. The pressure they're put under, the way in which they're treated, especially if they're, you know, women who don't want to bend to whatever the firm wants, who don't want to play the game. But Camilla being, a woman in this institution and now being queen, oh my God, we have to call her queen. Beyond just standing there and reading pre-written speeches about how we need to stop abuse against women, what does she actually do? Do you think Camilla shows up to Parliament asking MPs what they're doing or trying to get any meaningful legislation passed? The British government recently declared violence against women a state of emergency. What's Camilla said about that? Nothing. What has she done about that? Nothing. What will she do about that? Nothing. She will climb on the backs of other women to try to make herself look good. That's what she's going to do. And that's what she's doing here. She should not have sent this letter, and I think this is insulting. Using another woman, a woman who's been through hell, what she was put through by her ex-husband, what she was put through, taking this court to trial to give a light to other women so that we could trigger more conversations about SA, justice for herself and justice for others, went through hell that somebody like Camilla would never know. Sending her a letter for what? Like she said, remember what Harry said in the James Corden interview that all the family watch The Crown? They said they don't, but they do. I'm sure they're all watching Harry and Meghan. They are watching every episode slowed down to the slowest setting. Let me tell you that. Um, Special love. Why haven't we addressed the way YouTube is enabling all of this? The YouTube algorithm works to push what gets views, and what gets views is hateful content, um, and stuff that triggers people. So YouTube is prioritizing their bottom line. That's the unfortunate reality of just the way the YouTube algorithm works. They prioritize their bottom line. And that's why you'll find hater channels with literally hundreds of thousands of followers. Like our very cute, positive space where we keep it cute over here is tiny in comparison to the hate spaces. I try not to dip into those spaces and to protect my mental health, but I know the size that they are. They're massive. Like she said, actually, her YouTube page goes by her name. However, she had an episode that was titled "Confessions of a Female Founder." So what? It's not even a whole podcast. So what are they even to? So you telling me that they went to they went to the like the bottom of of the YouTube food chain to somebody with less than 2,000 subscribers just to pull out that story from their behinds? That is actually just insane. For them to even have found that lady's channel with less than 2,000 subscribers, they must have literally been looking for a podcast with that name. And it just so happens that this tiny channel that literally nobody would have known about, no offense to that lady, but nobody would have known about, had some rabid journalist not gone looking for that. Oh, ridiculous. Yeah, PR is Camilla's MO. And Lewis is the woman in France. This is the hero in France, who is 10 times the woman that Camilla will ever be. I mean, Camilla ain't no damn activist. An actress, yes, but an activist, hell no. No, not a very good actress either. Should win a Razzie every year. Yet Camilla couldn't even hold Mrs. Macron's hand at a war memorial. A war memorial. And we think that she's going to be some activist for women, that she cares about women like Giselle Pellico. Please. Please. Camilla, who was at lunch with Jeremy Clarkson and Piers Morgan the day before Jeremy Clarkson posted the most disgusting article about Meghan, calling for her to be abused in the streets. Yeah, YouTube is most definitely responsible. One day it's going to be addressed. Well, I hope it will be addressed, but how it's addressed is that's another thing. Because YouTube does need to clear up its act. That goes without saying. But as a corporate company, they're always going to do what puts their dollars first. Yeah, you have to really you really have to do the absolute, or what YouTube considers the worst to get demonetized. First of all, get demonetized from YouTube, And just because they demonetize you doesn't necessarily mean you'll get kicked off the platform. So for example, I think what are these two idiots? Fruity and Floppy, Fresh and Fit, these misogynists, they got demonetized, but I don't think they've actually been kicked off of YouTube. So even when you're saying the worst things, they won't necessarily kick you off the platform. For Connie Barmer, Piers Morgan is never letting go of Meghan. That man is evil. Surprisingly, with everything that Meghan's been putting out, Piers Morgan hasn't actually come up on my feed once. I think he's getting lost in the noise of it all. Other trolls are trolling harder than him. So I actually haven't heard anything that he's said at all, which is quite surprising. Susie Q, somebody needs to take YouTube to court. It's a difficult one because it's not it's you've got content creators who are creating hateful content. YouTube is just a platform. So I, I think that there needs to be more done to give people um more space to go after individual content creators who create content that is meant to be harmful, bullying, um, and in the same way because it's almost as if just because it's in the digital space, it doesn't get the punishment it would if you were to say those things to somebody's face in the streets, especially if you was to say it to their in the streets repeatedly. It's like people hide behind the fact that the legislation hasn't yet caught up with the digital age. So I think the first thing that needs to be done is there needs to be um, more reinforcement in the law that you can't just basically bully someone just because you have like an online platform and a YouTube account. Because you wouldn't be able to do that to somebody's face in the street. You get done for harassment. And then I think when that gets sorted out, or while we're sorting that out, how we can hold these platforms accountable. Do we force them to, if a creator is making certain content that they're not allowed to be monetized, that there needs to be just new rules around what does and doesn't get monetized, when you get demonetized, and also it's not just that you get demonetized, you also get thrown off the platform. All those conversations need to be had, and actually with the work that Harry and Meghan are doing, those are actually the conversations that are being had. So you know our faves are actually doing the work in that regard and trying to encourage others to do the same. Connie Obama, you said who owns YouTube? That person's responsible for their channel. YouTube has now actually been purchased by Google. Or it was purchased by Google a while ago, actually. Google own YouTube. This is one of the reasons I say when you donate to my channel or you become a member, um, to do so through Buy Me a Coffee or PayPal. Because YouTube takes 30% of everything that you give me, by the way. So this is one of the reasons why I always say support me through if you're gonna donate through other platforms. Because YouTube gains so much from creators, especially hateful creators. It's all about the bottom line, folks. The CPM on a Meghan hater channel, if I had to guess, it would probably be about 10 to maybe 30 pounds per thousand views. If I had to guess. And these are channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers that are getting hundreds of thousands of views. This is why the Meghan hate train, it's not going to stop anytime soon because it's just so profitable. And it's why I don't get me wrong, I 100% agree with what you're saying in terms of these platforms and these people being held accountable. But I also I'm trying to make you understand through what I'm saying, and I hope you see what I'm saying of why it's going to be very difficult for us to get there. I mean, it could be as easy as these platforms just deciding tomorrow, to be honest. But because they put their bottom line first, it's not that easy. Really, until there is a way to hold the platform accountable. I mean, there is a way to hold the platform accountable. I'm not trying to make excuses for the platform or excuses for the haters. The way to hold them accountable is to shut them down. To just shut the haters down and stop them profiting. That's the way to hold them accountable. But because these big corporates put their bottom line first, um, it's just not that easy. Okay. Was there anything else that I wanted to bring up? Just check through my slides. No, I think I am good for today. I hope you're good for today. Hopefully by tomorrow, my cold would have cleared up completely. Sincerely hope you're enjoying your weekend, making lovely crepes with raspberry preserve, and I hope they're coming out much better than Kate's crepes and pancakes. Rahini, one big successful lawsuit against a platform will change this. Yes. The thing is, you also have, I mean, YouTube is the biggest platform, but even with everything that we have to say about YouTube, at least to some degree, um, in certain places, YouTube will take action. The problem is you now have these really big tech bros, tech billionaire bros. They're setting up all these platforms like Rumble, for example, right? So when you have something like that, YouTube was set up actually from a place of joy. People with hateful hearts use it, but it was set up from a place of joy, right? Now you've got platforms like Rumble, which are literally set up from a place of hate by hateful people. So now the question becomes, well, how do we bring in legislation that platforms like that can't even get started in the first place? You know, so I think Rahini is right in that one successful lawsuit will change this because then it will apply. That can then apply to all of the other platforms, especially ones that are literally just started for hate. Oh yeah, thank you so much, Rahini. Yes, please do remember Squatty Hooks, folks. There you go. Thank you to the person who sent us their delivery. If you have had your delivery and the first batch should have actually come through, please do send us your pictures so we can post. Would love to. Yeah, hate pays for these companies, and they're being backed by some very wealthy people. I mean, I think Rumble, which is basically the the hate version of YouTube, I think they actually paid, was it Andrew Tate, something like £9 million or something crazy like that. That's how much money you're talking about. It's just actually insane. Yeah, that's the other thing, Sharon. They'll scream free speech. That's a consideration as well. But free speech should also come with a level of responsibility. You know. Thank you so much, Elegant Pause, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Patricia Nixon. Very grateful to have you here. Sorry we went on a little bit of a rant, but sometimes it's necessary. Vera, it said Rumble is not only a place of hatred, it's also a place of the kind truth that mainstream media will never publish. I follow a few channels here. I mean, that's fair enough. And thank you for letting us know that. It's just unfortunate it has, I think, gained that reputation because of certain people who they fund or they're aligned with. But that's good to know that I guess there's some positive and decent stuff on there because that's not generally the impression that I got. Shady Cece, you said former GB host Mark Nolan is now a YouTuber. His first business for the day is with Love Megan. Honey, it's going to be his first business, his last business, because our good sis lives rent free in their minds. And with that, I will end the podcast. Thank you so much as always, folks. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will not play the outro because I do need to go to bed now. Love you all, and I will see you later. Ciao.